Hello, so today I intended to film a video about invocation of Lilith and Agrad Bat Malat, but one other really important topic came to my mind really, and that topic was a really big problem in modern black magical revival. And that problem is too much pointless, inaccurate information out there which isn't based on anything. And before I start talking about this video, I just want to remind you that there is an awesome shop held by my friend, and link to that shop is in description. She is selling awesome jewelry and magical products, so check her out. Okay, so I wanted to talk about pointless information which is in the occult community today, and I want to give you an example of that pointless information. So I wanted to design a special t-shirt for Demonic Duchess Beyond with my other friend who is also a black magician and designer, and we kind of worked with Beyond together, and we wanted to really go deeply into her on our own, but we also wanted to study her, to study all of the information available about Beyond. And all of a sudden we found out that a lot of people consider Beyond to be ancient Egyptian deity. So we wanted to check those claims, and we wanted to find sources from and for those claims. We wanted to find archaeological evidence. We wanted to find any sort of thing which validates the fact that Beyond was Egyptian deity, and we were not able to find any historical evidence, any archaeological evidence of Beyond as an Egyptian deity. So when we asked a person to give us a source of Beyond being ancient Egyptian deity, I was directed to one blog about Beyond, and that blog about Beyond contained no sources, just the claim that Beyond is ancient Egyptian deity. Of course, this baseless claim that Beyond is somehow ancient Egyptian deity became so popular that you will find a bunch of fan art and Beyond depicted as a naked Egyptian woman and shit like that. But there is no historical evidence for that. This is just one example. Another example is the demon Sitri, okay? A lot of people claim that Sitri from the Goetia is somehow Set, the old Egyptian god. Well, outside of similarity in name, there is no similarity in office or personality between Sitri and ancient Egyptian god Set. Absolutely not. And considering the fact that Goetia is written as a mix between Greek, Persian, Latin, and Hebrew sources, and partially Egyptian sources, and old god Set was an Egyptian deity, there is a great possibility that Sitri is coming out of other pantheons, such as Greek, Hebrew, Persian. There is no guarantee that Sitri is necessarily related to Set. There is no overlap in personality, in office, or in association. And also, there is a huge amount of evidence that bunch of Goetia spirits were not ancient gods. They are specific to Goetia system. Some of the Goetia spirits definitely have roots in ancient Middle Eastern pantheons, such as Berit from Baal Berit, or Baal from Baal, or Ashtaroth from Asherah. But those are only few. Majority of Goetia demons cannot be found in any sources outside of Goetia or Pseudo-Monarchia Demonum. I really tried to study a lot a background, and there is really no a lot of evidence for those spirits, historically speaking, outside of the Lesser Key of Solomon. You maybe can stretch that Naberius is Kerberos, or that Paimon is somehow Hephaistos, the old Greek god. But it is what it sounds. It sounds like somebody is artificially trying to make a connection where there is no connection. For Paimon, however, you can argue that he is part of the genic system, and I support that argument. But for majority of Goetia spirits, there is no proof that they existed or were worshipped in that form before Goetia was written. Majority of Goetia demons seem to originate within the Lesser Key of Solomon, seem to be first time presented to humanity through the Lesser Key of Solomon. You can make a case for maybe 5 or 6 of them to be ancient gods, but the book is having 72 spirits. So 6 out of 72, it's the smaller amount than the 10%. It's less than the 10% of the spirits there. And you have also ridiculous claims that Purson is Horus, and I don't know. Many ridiculous claims about the Goetia with no historical basis. Okay? And I understand our ability to channel personal gnosis, but we need to understand the difference between personal gnosis and personal imagination is really thin. The boundary between the two is really thin, and we should really take any personal gnosis from us or any other magician with a grain of salt, because as you saw here, okay, this claim that Bune is ancient Egyptian deity had and has no support in science, in archaeology, or history. So we cannot claim it with certainty. But many people base their entire practice upon that unprovable claim. I will not call it a false claim, but I will call it unprovable claim. There is no proof that Bune is ancient Egyptian deity. There is no record. There is no archaeological evidence. And that's the case for many demons within Goetia, okay? Many things you find within Goetia have some bits and pieces from ancient cultures, such as Greek culture, Hebrew culture, partially Egyptian culture, and partially Babylonian culture, partially Persian culture. Goetia is mixed from all over the place. But there is no evidence that majority of spirits were presented to humanity before the Lesser Key of Solomon was written. Majority of spirits from that book cannot be found in any ancient source, in any ancient book. Shrines to those spirits, majority of spirits from the Goetia, cannot be found in any ancient site. I never heard any site which was dug up dedicated to Person, or dedicated to Citri, or dedicated to Flanerus. Those spirits seem to be first presented to humanity through the Lesser Key. And it doesn't make them invalid. the fact that those spirits were first time presented to us through Pseudomonarchia Demonum and the Lesser Key of Solomon do not make them invalid. It does not make them powerless. It does not make them useless. We shouldn't simply make some historical line which isn't there. Many people tried to collect me and correct me and talk to me about Testament of Solomon. But from what I read, Testament of Solomon has completely different list of spirits, which is only partially connected to the list of spirits we see in the Goetia. So really, there is no historical validity or proof which validates that Bjorn is Egyptian deity, and there is no historical proof of or evidence which validates many outrageous claims out there, which fly ridiculously high on the heaven of the occult community. So this was the main point of this video. You should really, when you study those spirits, when you study those demonic beings, and when you study history of magic, you should really try to be as detailed as possible, because history of magic is important for its practical application. A lot of people are writing books and they are simply making shit up, and when we apply that shit they made up, it doesn't hold any water, it doesn't work. So historical approach to magic and study of the history of magic is really important. And what I also wanted to talk about in this video is kind of relationship between the jinn and the spirits of the Goetia. Now, this is my personal experience, and I also want to kind of show my personal experience and result in my research to you, my audience. So in my experience, majority of spirits from the Lesser Key of Solomon, from the Goetia, are not jinn. Majority of spirits from the Lesser Key of Solomon are either picked up from many different pantheons and religions, or simply channeled by the author of the Lesser Key of Solomon, and then incorporated into Christian demonology. So, majority of spirits we find in the Lesser Key of Solomon are demons in a Christian sense. Now, what it means for practitioner? It means that those spirits inhabit probably the same realm as famous demons such as Beelzebub or Satan or Lucifer or whatever. And that's a result of my research. I extensively worked and practiced Arabic magic, and what I can say is that jinn from Arabic sources have completely different energy signature than Goetia spirits. In the same way that Haitian Loa, for example, or fairies have completely different energy signature than Goetia spirits. And I think we shouldn't make assumption that spirits from the different systems are the same without taking into consideration historical, cultural, and magical background of those beings and systems. So this is enough for today. Thank you for watching, and wait for a Lilith invocation video I will film tomorrow. Bye guys.